Hello everyone, in today's golf lesson video, I'm giving you the best driver swing for senior golfers. Now, before you turn off because you're young and beautiful, this golf driver lesson also applies to people who struggle with maybe a little bit of flexibility. So if you're struggling with turning in your golf swing, you can't get that club all the way back to parallel in your backswing, or you struggle with releasing the golf club and slice your driver, stay tuned because this video is perfect for you. Before I give you some simple golf tips to help you hit your drivers longer and straighter, if you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. If you're a returning viewer, hello again. Little reminder for you all, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps the channel and helps me keep creating free content just like this to help you lower your scores. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy the video and turn your bell on so you get notified of when I upload all my new videos. So senior golfers or golfers that aren't as flexible, what do they struggle with? Turning. Now let's start with the backswing. The backswing, I see common mistakes is not a lot of turn. The lower half is really quiet. It makes your golf swing really armsy. You start cutting across it loads and start hitting big slices. I've even missed it, that one, but it's still slicing. So we want to try and create a bigger turn in that backswing. Simple tip number one to help you hit this driver longer and straighter is to do with your setup and how your feet are positioned. We're going to focus on our trail leg. So right-handed golfers, your right leg, left-handed golfers, your left leg. Your trail leg is what we're focusing on. Now, what I want you to focus on is your feet position. Are your feet pointing straight out in front of you, or are they flared a little bit? If they're straight out in front of you, especially the trail foot, I want you to start flaring it out. Flaring it out, and it doesn't matter how much you try and experiment with it, it's going to be different for everyone. Some of you might just need a little flare. Less flexible people down that lens might need more. So give it a try and experiment with how much you do it. I want you to flare this right foot out or trail leg, which is going to allow you to start turning these hips more. Turning these hips more is going to allow you to take that club further back, creating a bigger arc, creating more speed in your club head, hitting your driver as long as possible. Winner. Now, if you feel like that doesn't give you enough flexibility or rotation in your lower half, add this into your golf swings as well. What I want you to do is just drop this trail foot back a little bit as well. Not crazy, because that'll start affecting paths too much and things like that and strike. I just want you to drop it back a few inches. It will feel like you're pointing your feet down the right of your target a little bit, but don't worry too much, because if you are a slicer of the golf ball, this will start to influence your path like I've just talked about. Not excessively. If you do a little bit, you'll start hitting more a little bit from the inside, hopefully, which will stop that slice if we get your club face in the right position, which we're coming to, and you'll start hitting those little draws, which I'm sure if you're a slicer, will get you very excited. So flare that foot out a little bit and drop that foot back a little bit as well. Two simple little setup tips to help you get that lower half rotating more and that swing length a little bit longer. Simple tip number two. Let's start focusing in on our upper body now. So we've done our lower half, flared our right foot out or trail foot out and dropped it back a bit, which has got our hips rotating more. What I see on a daily basis out on the golf course and in the studio is people worrying about their head moving too much. People miss-hit a shot. Oh, brought my head up. You're allowed to move your head, okay? And what I want you to do to really start rotating this upper body more, as well as this lower body, really getting this swing up a lot longer and this backswing longer, is think about how your head is positioned. I want you to kind of feel like you're going to be looking out of your lead eye at that golf ball. That's going to allow you to start turning that upper body more. So not just focusing on the ball and stopping yourselves from turning. Let that head either go back with you in that backswing or just set yourself up with your head slightly tilted that way. It's going to allow that upper body to turn more as well, creating, again, longer arcs, more club head speed, hitting that golf ball further. So we've managed to create a longer backswing, and with those setup changes might change impact positions like club path, which we've talked about. So we need to make sure that your face marries up with that path now to get you hitting those bomb, long and straight golf drives. With your swings at the moment being quite rigid and stiff and not a lot of body turn going on, we tend to see a lot of handle drags, keeping that face open to marry that face up with your path moving so out to in, so you don't release the golf club as we want. I'm going to put my Hack Motion wrist sensor on for this and show you the difference between maybe that stiff cutting across swing wrist angles compared to dropping that foot back, flaring that trail foot and getting that head turning, to see how I can then start releasing that golf club better for better face to path awareness. So I'm going to do 2 swings. Stiff, rigid one first. No mobility, no real turns going on, feet pointing dead straight and no flare. My arms and wrists doing all the work, chopping across it, hitting that big slice. Oh, there it goes. And swing number 2 with all those simple setup tips. Flare my trail foot out, drop it back a bit, start looking out of my lead eye rather than straight at the golf ball, so I've got a bit of head turn. Now I'm really going to start releasing that club out in front of me, and let's see what's different with those wrist angles. Oh, it's all green. Hello. So the Hack Motion graph that I'm just about to show you is really simple to understand, and it's talking about flexion and extension in the lead wrist, which is your hand moving this way and this way. At address, my wrist is pretty much identical. 47 degrees of extension in my lead wrist on my first shot and 45 on my second. Now, if we work to the top of our swings, look at the difference here. I've got 64 degrees of extension in my lead wrist on that stiff, unflexible, no real turns going on first swing, whereas my second swing I've got 43 degrees. Why is that? Because we're not creating those big turns, you're going to try and find a way of getting that club back as far as possible. So if I just take my club back to my lead arm parallel to the floor with a pretty flat lead wrist, okay, look at where the club gets to. If I add loads of extension in, now look at where the club head gets to. I can get that club moving further back, which is going to allow me to create more speed potentially and get that little bit more power. So that's what you're doing to create a longer swing. Whereas when I start turning my body more, my lower body and upper body with those simple tips, I'm only 43 degrees extended at the top. So my wrist hasn't really gone into much flexion or extension. It stayed as what it has as address. And that's key to more club face control. Because if I'm adding all this extension in to get my swing longer when I'm not turning my bodies, I have to get all of that extension back out again by the time I hit the ball. And that's far too much work for you guys to do down there, which is why you're probably creating those big slices as well. So if we go to impact now, impact on the first shot where I haven't got any turns, my wrist gets back to 31 degrees of extension. But look at swing 2. I'm down now at 18 degrees of flexion. And the difference between those two is if I start taking that flexion out, look what happens to the face. It starts to close more and I take that loft off. That's what's going to help your face to path get that face a lot squarer or a little bit more closed to help you hit straighter, longer, maybe even a little draw with your driver. And what might help you with that release and getting those wrist angles in a better position is thinking about where you want that club to be after impact and just doing a few rehearsals, getting that club to overtake. And I'm basically trying to get that club, the leading edge and the club going right up to the sky. When we start cutting across it this way, you get the face pointing up towards the sky. So a few rehearsals, getting that club in the right position. Then we're going to go set up, flare the right foot, drop it back a little bit. Again, looking out the ball with your lead eye, so your head's tilted a little bit differently. And then we're going to really focus on getting that release as well. big turns, good release. There's the big draw. I've overdone it slightly, but that is a good drive. 290 carry. Oh, that's a ball flight that lots of you watching wouldn't see, that big draw. You would see the opposite way, high, wafty slices. 3 simple tips to get you hitting your driver as long and as straight as possible. I'd love to know if it helps in the comments down below. And a little reminder again for you all, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider hitting that big subscribe button. Hitting the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and turn your bell on so you get notified of when I upload all my new videos. I hope that helps you hit long and straight golf drives. See you in the next one.